Hey guys, I'm Cassandra Bodzak, and you're watching this Friday's Appreciative Workshop on how to handle negative body thoughts and body talk in your head. It is summertime before you know it, and 'tis the season to be triggered if you've had any sort of complicated relationship with your body, if you've had any sort of disordered eating. And so I felt really called at this time of the year to not only give this workshop out as something for my Appreciative membership community, but as well to share with my audience in general, because I felt really called to offer extra support around this particular matter, because it's something that hits so close to home for me. For those of you who read Eat with Intention, you know this. Eat with Intention is all about my struggle with my body and how I finally made peace with it, and it really is my playbook for coming into a healthy relationship with it. So I wanted to kick off this Friday's workshop with 5 steps and 5 tools really that I find really helpful when I get into a negative thought spiral around my body. You guys all know how this can happen, right? You're in the dressing room trying on bathing suits. That lighting is god-awful. You go to try on that bridesmaid dress and it's just a little too tight and you have to go up a size. Maybe you see someone on Instagram that, is wearing like a bikini and it triggers you. There are so many ways that those of us who have sensitive relationships with our physical bodies can be kind of set off. And so often, it doesn't matter how much work you've done in the past. It doesn't matter whether or not you're still engaging in some of those disordered behaviors. The summer and these thoughts can still, be triggered and pop up for you. So I wanted to just walk you through my top 5 strategies for really navigating this kind of terrain, because I know that it's something that still comes up for me today. It comes up for tons of my clients. And, the importance of being able to wrangle our negative self-talk, being able to really come back into peace and eventually love for our bodies is really about so much more than our physical appearance. It's about our self-esteem. It's about our personal power. It's about our confidence, our innate sense of worth and empowerment, right? So one of the biggest reasons why I'm so passionate about helping women make peace with their bodies is so that they can go out and be in their lives, so that they can focus on the things that are really important in their lives, so they can focus on their mission, on their career, on their family, on their friends. They can focus on all the juicy things out there in life and not feel trapped in this uncomfortable prison of negative body talk that is all too familiar. So I'm going to go through my top 5 tools, and then I'm also going to share with you a special group coaching program that I'm offering this summer. It's my first time offering it, but I felt super called with some of the experiences that have been coming up with some of my clients and my girlfriends to offer an 8-week adventure into loving your body, and I'm calling it a Body Love Bootcamp. But I'll tell you more about that later. First, let's just dive into these tools. So number 1 of the most helpful things for me when I was first tackling my disordered eating and my body dysmorphia and my just obsession of thoughts around my body and losing weight and exercising and all of that was realizing that little voice in my head that said the mean things about my body, that kind of, cheered on these negative behaviors, was really just like a mean roommate. And for those of you who've read the book, The Untethered Soul, I highly recommend it. I've shared it with almost all of my clients. And one of the things Michael Singer mentions in the book when he starts talking about the voices in our head is that we can think about it as a roommate. And this really resonated with me around my negative body thoughts. Because when I thought about this other kind of nasty Cassandra living in my head, and she was the one that would be like, ew, you're fat, oh my god, I can't believe you went up a size, she's so much skinnier than you, you're never gonna have those abs, right? Just be like, pardon my French, but bitch Cassandra, that would be saying these mean things. And when I separated it, when I really thought of it as like, this is this mean roommate that I live with, then I took my power back around it. I think for the longest time, I felt like I was at the mercy of that mean voice. But when I started looking at it as a roommate, then it really allowed me to say, oh, hey, bitchy Cassandra, shut up. Like, this body is healthy. This body is fine. You don't need to skip lunch. It's okay that you had to go up a size, or most of the time, honestly, it was just like, shut up. That's it. It doesn't even have to be a strong counter. It could still literally be shut up. And so take that into practice. If you start noticing those thoughts come up, if you start noticing that voice inside of you that says those mean things about your body, that kind of forces you into either not wanting to eat or wanting to work out extra hard, or something that is coming from a really self-hating, I hate to say that word, but it's true, it's a self-hating place, because there's a difference between being like, I don't feel my best right now, I don't feel like I'm in my fittest, healthiest space, and I want to take care of my body, so I'm going to make a shift, and being in that negative, vile energy of being like, you're gross, you can't eat, you don't deserve to have that piece of cake because you're 5 pounds overweight, or you need to starve yourself, or you need to work out, right? There's a different energy to it. So acknowledging that roommate, not being afraid to start telling her to shut up. And then that brings me to number 2, which kind of goes hand in hand with that, is that to take the next right action. Oftentimes, what happens is that we have these default coping mechanisms, right? So we hear that voice, and it says something mean about us, and there's a coping mechanism. And for some of us, that coping mechanism is emotional eating and eating even more. And for others of us, that coping mechanism could be restricting or over-exercising, or God forbid, taking diet pills or diet tea or something like that, right? So we know what our coping mechanisms are. I'm sure if you're watching this, you can kind of get a glimpse of what your particular ones are. And so we can just do the next right action. We see that trigger. We hear that dialogue going on. And so one of the things that would often happen for me, if I was trying on clothes and I got really triggered, my coping mechanism would be to not want to eat for the rest of the day. And I felt somehow if I didn't eat for the rest of the day, then it would calm me, and I would feel like I was back in control again, and I would feel like I was on my path to being skinnier again. And so kind of knowing what your patterns were. So for me, in that instance, when I got triggered, it was like, okay, I know what I want to do. I know what I'm leaning towards doing, but can I actually take the next right action instead? So in that instance, it would be like, you know what? I'm out in the mall with my girlfriends. We were all planning on going to lunch. I'm going to go out to lunch, and I'm going to get lunch. And even if I get a healthy lunch, that's great. Like, get a healthy lunch, get a nice big salad with some, yummy stuff on it, but you're eating lunch. And so you know exactly what your coping mechanisms are, and you know what the healthy option is. And oftentimes I find that if you start thinking a little bit ahead of time, and I'm sure it's coming up for you right now just as you're watching this, if you start thinking, what is my reflex when I have that thought? Is it to get a second yoga class in that day? Is it to drink that slimming tea? Is it to not eat for the next day? Or is it to end up saying F it and go buying a pizza or something, You know what that is for you. And so coming up with what is your counter game plan? And maybe your counter game plan, like mine, if you're a restrictor, is to simply say, hey, you can eat healthy, but you have to eat the next meal, And if you're an exerciser and your instinct is to go to the gym and do 2 hours of cardio, maybe your compromise is saying, hey, you can't do 2 hours of cardio because that's from a negative place. But you can take an awesome restorative yoga class, or you can go for a swim, or you can go into a sauna session. You can do something that's self-loving for your body, but that's not like just trying to beat the calories out of it. So 1, realizing that it's a roommate in your head. 2, taking the next right action when that trigger happens. Number 3 is having, and I'm really, really, really big advocate of this. From those of you who watch my stuff, and we'll be going deeper into this in the Body Love Bootcamp, as well as all the tools that we're talking about today, but is really having a daily body gratitude practice. And I have on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, I have another body gratitude meditation on there. It's called Body Love and Acceptance, and I'll link it below, actually, for those of you who are watching this on YouTube or on the blog. But it's so important, if you're going through a time where you're severely triggered, to do that, to have a meditation practice where you're really coming back into peace and love with your body. And I really think, more so than a lot of other meditations, it can be really, really helpful to have someone guide you through that, because there is a power that, let's say me guiding you through it allows you to kind of release your resistance to it, allows you to surrender to my voice, to my guidance. Whereas if you're really in the thick of your trigger, you trying to think of the positive things about your body and trying to remember how beautiful your breath is and your heartbeat and all this stuff, it's going to feel disingenuous to you. It's going to feel forced, and it's not going to feel good. So while once you are in a good place, you can absolutely do that by yourself, and I highly recommend it. I really would check out the guided meditation and use it on a daily basis. The thing is, I try to explain this to people all the time. If you woke up every day with like a really bad migraine, right? And you were someone that takes, like, let's say Advil or Aleve or one of those things, like, you would keep taking that, or you would hopefully go to the doctor and figure out what was going on, but like, you would keep taking that until the pain got better. And while I'm not an advocate for taking a ton of over-the-counter medication, I am an advocate for meditating in correlation to the level of pain you're in. So if you're in a lot of pain around your body right now, doing a daily, 10, 15-minute meditation around loving your body, accepting your body, and tuning into your body to find out what it actually wants is like just an invaluable practice. Another thing that I also recommend with that is that on the days you can't do the whole meditation is to simply develop a habit of, while you're washing your body in the shower or while you're putting on body lotion after the shower, of just allowing that to be a body love practice, allowing yourself to just take a moment and be with your feet and say, oh wow, like, I'm so grateful for these beautiful feet that allow me to walk from place to place, that allow me to dance, allow me to feel the sand and the dirt, right? And then you're washing up to your calves and your thighs, and I'm so grateful for these legs that, allow me to do my yoga, allow me to do spinning, allow me to jog or whatever it is, and kind of just working your way back up and finding a little thing about each part of your body that you're grateful for. So if you're triggered by your stomach area, and that's a problem area, or I hate using that word, problem area, that's an area that brings you, let's say, a little bit more distress, which is common, then for me, what I do is I focus on my digestion. I'm so grateful to have a great digestive system. I'm so grateful that my body's processing all the food I put in it and eliminating all the toxins and saving all the nutrients. So you can get grateful for it on an even deeper level than just its appearance, which is the true magic. So that's just like kind of a little taster of those first three. And then the fourth one is to come up with a body affirming mantra. And this is another, all of these tips that I'm giving you are things that I hope you can keep in your back pocket. I hope that you can use over and over and over again. We're going to be going over them in way more detail in the 8-week course. But this is just a little taster as well for you to take this and run with it. Pick up one of these tools, two of these tools. Have them in the back of your head for when you're really triggered and you need that help. And so a body affirming mantra, think of, I'll tell you mine. My practical magic girls already know mine. But my body affirming mantra is, I am a goddess here in human form. And whenever I'm feeling self-conscious about my body, whenever I'm feeling a little a little uncomfortable in my body, I use that mantra, I am a goddess here in human form. I am a goddess here in human form. And I repeat it over and over again in my head. I could be on a date. I could be on stage at a talk. I could just be in my living room, whatever it is, and repeating it in my head physically transforms my energy. It shifts me at such a core level that my awareness gets completely taken out of whatever minute error I've found on my body and into a much grander, energetic level of, wow, I am a powerful, beautiful woman. And it's so much bigger than my body. And because it's something like that, like I'm a goddess here in human form, it elevates my energy to such a place where I'm not even really thinking about that whatever like flaw I was focusing on in my body. And it's more than just my body that I think about when I think I'm a goddess in human form. I think about my energy. I think about my mission. I think about all of the other bigger things, but it also makes me feel super sexy and beautiful. So finding what that is for you, maybe it's queen, maybe it's princess, maybe it is goddess, feel free to borrow mine. Maybe it's I'm Aphrodite, or I am Athena, or I am Wonder Woman. Whatever it is for you, it could just be I radiate light. I am a radiant woman. I glow. Finding something that just brings you to a different level of energy is a great mantra for you that you can whip out. You can whip out when you're at that party and all of a sudden, your boyfriend's friend's girlfriend is, wearing an itty bitty bikini and has an amazing body, and all of a sudden it kind of, all that, your own stuff flashes before your eyes and you have to bring yourself back in an instant to be like, I'm a goddess here in human form. I'm a goddess here in human form. I cannot tell you how powerful that mantra has been for me in my journey. I still use it to this day if I'm feeling self-conscious about something, if I'm on my period or I'm bloated or whatever the thing is, and I'm just feeling off in my body when I need to be in front of the camera, when I'm in an important meeting, when whatever it happens to be, that mantra it brings me home. It brings me to my beauty and my power far beyond my physical looks. And my final tip is to ask your body, how can I take care of you? I think this is a big part. The first 4 weeks of what I'm planning for the Body Love Bootcamp is really around releasing the negative self-talk, the mean thoughts about our body, getting into a place of gratitude, finding that love. But then the second half is really about learning how to talk to our body and learning how to connect to its deep wisdom. Because, the truth is, I've had a lot of clients that have lost, and I don't talk about this a lot publicly, but I have a lot of clients that have lost a significant amount of weight and had amazing health benefits from doing the Eat With Intention method, from really just listening to their body and talking to their body, from being kind to their body. One of my recent clients lost 20 pounds, right? But what she gained was happiness and peace around her food and her body. And that's what we all want. So, the Body Love Bootcamp is not to say that if you are a little bit over your happy weight, your most healthy weight, that you won't lose weight. It's not about losing weight or not losing a weight. The thing is about tuning into your body and actually asking your body what would nourish you. Because if you're carrying a little extra weight because of stress, because of maybe, some crappy eating over the holidays or something, if you tune in and ask your body what would nourish you, your body's going to get you back on track. Your body's going to say, hey girl, I need some vegetables. Your body's not afraid to say, you know what, I need to sweat more. My body this year was like majorly shouting to me, like, I want to sweat more. And so I started going to spin class more. I started working out more regularly. And I can't tell you how amazing it's felt. And yes, I've lost weight because of it, but the energy with it is like, it's an act of self-love. It's an act of self-nourishment. And so that's why, the fifth tool, the one I'm going to leave you with, is actually just tuning into your body when you're feeling triggered. When you are feeling, because oftentimes, if we are feeling triggered because, let's say, we're bloated, or, our jeans are fitting a little tight, or feeling a little uncomfortable in our body, a lot of those kinds of triggers might actually be because we're eating something that's not working for us. Might actually be because we're super stressed out when we're eating, or we're not eating slow enough, or, we're, eating on autopilot and not even allowing our body to digest it. So when we actually can tune in and actually ask our body, hey, what would nourish you the most right now? Then we can get those answers. We can find out, and quite often it's a lot more simpler than we make it out to be. I think we live in a world where it's like some of these diet plans and these things that you see, it's like you can only have these 5 foods and don't have that food, and only fats here and only carbs here, and all these crazy rules. And I've really found time and time again in my work and in my personal life that when we're feeling off in our body, when it is because there is a physical thing going on where we've maybe put on weight, or we're feeling bloated, or we're feeling inflamed, that our body wants to tell us what to do. Our body wants to tell us how to take care of it. It wants to be in its happy place. So if we listen to it, then we can get there, but from a place of self-love and not a place of self-hate, and not a place of self-judgment or not feeling good enough. And ultimately, I think, I'll leave you with this thought. If you think about a time in your life where you've had, let's say, what felt like your most amazing body, what felt like your best body, I guarantee you, most often, unless you've severely struggled with an eating disorder, and even then, if you think about what your best healthy body was, your best healthy body is always when you're happy, when you're content in life. Oftentimes I find it is when someone is in love, or someone is enthused about the work they're doing. When we're in our lives, our body knows how to heal and how to rebalance, right? And oftentimes it's when we're in our lives and we're not consumed with our thoughts about exercise, or consumed with our thoughts about food, that our body truly gets to shine. It gets to be radiant and beautiful and feel nourished and look good, as well as feel good. Because guess what? You are meant to be radiant and glowing and vibrant and looking like a goddess here in human form, and whatever that looks like on your body type. But the way we get there has to be through love. The way we get there has to be through self-nourishment and self-care, and wanting to take care of this beautiful temple that we're in, take care of this beautiful God pod that we're in. So I hope that these 5 tips were helpful for you. I hope you keep them in the back of your pocket. Feel free to copy and paste the notes of them, put them on your phone if this is something that's popping up for you right now. And if you are interested in joining me on this 8-week-long Body Love Bootcamp journey, it is half support, half tools. So we'll have weekly calls and meetings where you'll get to meet the other fabulous women that are doing it with you, and we'll all get to share about what's coming up for us, what we're learning, as well as what we're struggling with, and what is just maybe naturally coming up for us as the summer progresses. And every week you'll also be getting a video with me with a powerful tool around loving your body, coming into peace with your body, learning how to ask it, learning how to decipher its messages and what it's trying to communicate with you, and then, of course, how to tap into its deeper intuition and body wisdom, so we can really, really honor it and really utilize it for the beautiful, beautiful tool it really is for us to navigate this lifetime. So thank you so much, and feel free to email me if you'd like to join me on that adventure, and I hope that you have a beautiful, body-loving week. Mwah.